find root in all communities. This will also go a long way to ensure better collection and economic growth enhancing initiatives. Such initiatives include the ICT spectrum enhancement and Operation Vulindlela. Notably, the latter has already reduced government red tape, as shown in the reduction of water license issuances to less than 90 days. Notwithstanding the global political economic challenges, the ANC believes that the budget increases critical infrastructure investments, whilst paying particular attention to fast-tracking shovel-ready projects and maintenance in order to promote sustainable growth. The budget allocates much-needed additional resources for health, education, as well as the police and defense. The budget also reflects on the macroeconomic reforms in network industries such as energy, telecommunications, and logistics. Overall, the budget addresses the binding constraints of crime, energy security, and the weak logistics environment in our country and region. The ANC also applauds the budget for providing a more humane South Africa by increasing the size and quantum of the social wage, which includes an increase in social expenditure, including grants, health expenditure, and access and equity in education. In this regard, a welcome measure is the further extension of the social relief of distress grant, which has been a lifeline for many poorer families who have been faced by the rising cost of living, including increasing food prices. This should lay the foundation for the introduction of the basic income grant. As anticipated, this is more of a people's budget, which has also provided relief for poorer households by, amongst others, increasing the tax threshold and capping the fuel and road accident fund levies. The ANC also welcomes the increase of the personnel budget for the safety and security architecture, which will see increases in border patrolling. This will be critical in building a safer South Africa. This will be complemented by measures employed to fight corruption, including implementing the recommendations of the State Capture Commission. As the governing party, we also welcome the increase of allocations to all spheres of government, particularly those allocated to local government, which we see as critical in addressing disaster relief, recovery, and repairs. All these planned measures are important in building more resilient and climate-smart communities. In undertaking this task and fighting poverty, unemployment, inequality, load shedding, crime and corruption, we will not be deterred and sidetracked by utterances of naysayers, such as the outgoing Eskom CEO. The comments of Mr. Ruyter are completely unacceptable. His opportunistic venture into the political arena has unmasked his regressive political and ideological agenda. If he wants to become a political player and undermine the efforts of patriotic South Africans, then let him say so publicly and declare for all to know who he is aligned with. The CEOs of any entity, including Eskom, should not be involved in open political debates or assertions. And where they have political views, they must be kept private matter so that they don't detract attention from their professional work. Mr. Ruyter was appointed strictly to lead the turnaround of Eskom into a functional public enterprise that provides the country with stable, reliable electricity. He has completely failed to deliver on this contractual obligation. Instead, he shifts the goalposts by advertising his right-wing ideological posture on a matter that falls outside the scope of his employment contract. The question of whether the national energy utility is state-owned or not was never part of his contract. It is a forte of the governing party and its ideological perspective on how to best ensure equitable access to electricity as a public good. We will not back down on this. We also reject his unfortunate, irresponsible and baseless claims of alleged political meddling and corruption at the embattled power utility. He is now trying to shift the blame from his own shortcomings to other people. We must ask why he is only raising this allegation when he leaves Eskom. If Mr. Ruyter has any evidence to the contrary, he is duty-bound to present it. He was the CEO, after all. Don't make flimsy allegations about involvement of people in corruption when you were at the helm. You were the CEO. Expose corruption. We challenge you so that law enforcement can deal with it. We commend the tough actions taken by the South African Police Service, Hawks, SIU, and other law enforcement agencies to bring charges against corrupt persons inside and outside Eskom. They must be furnished with information to do their job. South Africans from all communities and backgrounds are justifiably angry and upset that he has been in charge during a period of declining performance and unacceptable levels of load shedding. The ANC priority and that of government is to reduce load shedding and ensure energy security for all South Africans, including big and small businesses. The priority now is the rapid implementation of the energy plan announced by the President on the 25th July 2022 and elaborated upon during the recent State of the Nation address. We also support the efforts of the board and the tens of thousands of honest professionals, artisans, and workers to ensure that Eskom functions better. The ANC supports the actions of the board to ensure proper governance and integrity among all. The ANC wants the government to continue its work with the greatest level of agency. We equally say, hands off Eskom, particularly by corrupt individuals. If there are corrupt people who are promoting corruption, they happen to have the label of being ANC members or serve in any capacity in government, the Ruyter and others have got an obligation to expose them. The ANC does not support corruption. The ANC is not corrupt. We have established state capture in this country. Our own president appeared before state capture. Our own budget speaks to the implementation and support financially our state institutions to get rid and to be empowered to deal with elements of state capture. We will in no way mask or protect corrupt individuals. If the Ruyter knows who is corrupt at Eskom, let him expose that. He must not say that the ANC wants a piece of cake in renewable and just transition program of government. I am speaking on behalf of the ANC, and I challenge him that if he's got anything, he must come to me, and he must go to the police. That here is somebody in the entity talking on behalf of the ANC and demanding this and that. And all professionals, not only the Ruyter, serving in the SOEs, must act ethical and know very well that a ruling party that is leading in government cannot give instructions to them to do the wrongdoing in government. We are against micromanagement of government, as he purports, and we are in no way in support of that. We are aware that on a daily basis there are individuals, as exposed in the state capture, who could be going around making claims in the name of the ANC, and when the ANC itself is not aware, whereas they are perpetrating their own selfish interest. Our movement and our organization challenges the Ruyter and everyone else that if any of such things happen, expose them and at the same time bring them to book through law enforcement in this country. Do not mask difficulties because you fail to deal with load shedding in the country. We have supported the Ruyter as the ANC, including his appointment, because we believe in non-racialism. When he was under attack by racist bigots in this country, we supported him because we are a non-racial country. We don't care whether he's white, black, or green. As long as he was going to do the right thing, we supported him. And when he was even under attack that is inefficient, he doesn't know what he's doing, we supported him because we wanted somebody who will bring order and stability and run the entity. Now that he has failed and he has chosen to depart, we welcome the immediate departure as the ANC of Mr. De Ruyter from Eskom, as announced by the board. And at the same time, we urge the board to use through the eye of the needle to get a proper individual who's going to work with all professional people at Eskom to expedite with agency the addressing of the load shedding. And we support all the measures that government has pronounced as intervention to be accelerated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary General. We'll now take questions from yourselves. We'll take the first round, and then hopefully we'll also do the second one and then close. We'll deal with the other issues after. Who's the first person to ask? Yourself. Just announce who you are, where you're coming from. First, number one. Any other person? Yourself, number two. Okay, you can start.
Mr. Mbalula, I'm Christian Duplessis from Netwerk 24. You did touch on this issue, but I would just like to ask on the specific statements made by Mr. De Ruyter. What would your response be to the statement that the ghost of Lenin and Marx still haunt Litulia House? And then secondly, he spoke of a senior politician that was involved in, it seems like he said, corruption. And that this official is still in government, and that a senior cabinet minister knew from this, and that he in fact said that if you must do good, you must let them eat a little bit or something. What is your remarks on that statement, and are you going to follow up on to find out actually who this politician is and who the minister is, and actually deal with this issue? Thank you.
Okay.
It's Andy Siwa, my General Concern Times. I just wanted to clarify your very last statement. You said the board must use through the eye of the legal to find the replacement for Mr. Ruyter. that could be read in two ways, because through the IOC is an ANC document, so you could be implying that they should. Yeah. Or
It's in the Bible.
well, I need that's why I need to clarify it.
Okay.
Tell us what exactly I'm saying, because
Okay.
it can be read in many ways.
Yeah.
And secondly, you do admit that the ANC supported Mr. Ruyter all along, when people said he was incompetent, when people questioned him in his qualifications and so on. So at what point did you realize that he had failed? Because today you do say that he has failed. So at what point as the ANC did you realize that he has failed? Can I also ask, I mean, when he talks about ANC ministers or cabinet ministers that are eating and that knew about corruption and so on, those are your colleagues. As the SG, have you conducted the ministers that are relevant as far as Eskom is concerned? Have you got in touch with them? Have you questioned them about any of the issues that he has raised, whether they were aware or whether they were involved at all?
Any other question?
Yeah. Can we answer?
He's waiting for the second round, I know.
Thank you very much. I've got Zugo here. He's very much interested to answer economic issues from the statement.
Because we're not a dictatorship.
But nonetheless, thank you very much. That the ghost of Lenin and Marx are still alive, and we talk lumpen proletariat and we call each other comrades. That is the Ruyter's exposure of his regressive ideological posture. Actually, what he has done is repulsive. He shows that then if he doesn't believe in Lenin and Marx, he's to the opposite of that. And what is opposite to Lenin and Marx is right-wing. I'm not interested to know the Ruyter's ideological standing, nor his political affiliation as a CEO of Eskom. All what I'm interested in is that he was going to work to do things there, including ensure that we don't have load shedding. Quite clearly, when you retire and resign and run away, he went to a place when he knew that it faced challenges. So when you resign and there is a big failure written all over, you are not retiring as a martyr or as a victorious person. You are retiring in a place that you have failed to transform. Let's talk about his own ideology, whatever he believes in. Let's debate it. What is it that he believes in that government have refused to implement in terms of the challenges of Eskom? We don't know. He simply refers to that the ghost of Lenin and Marx still exists. We are not apologetic for being a multi-class, multi-ideological formation. We are unique in our very nature. We've got communists in our ranks. We've got capitalists in our ranks. We've got socialists in our ranks. That's who we are. And we believed in mixed economy. And that is our policy. And then we also believe in mixed energy mix. The point is, if he's got anything that says ANC is corrupt, he must then produce evidence. He doesn't. He refers to individuals who have made remarks. You know what you say in your private conversation with whoever. It cannot make up evidence in a court of law that reading the mind of this person, he was saying this. I don't know what the minister was trying to say when he says people must eat with the Ruyter. It is him who was supposed to follow up as the CEO and say, Minister, I think your conversation is unethical. Now I must go around chasing ghosts and following up on a statement by an individual who have proved his incompetence. I mean, people told us many things about the Ruyter, that why do you employ a person who have failed to even lead a company that deals with packaging goods and take him to electricity utility and believe that he can do it. Others said us, it is because you are afraid of white people. We said, we as the ANC, we believe this man can deliver. We supported him. Even when himself, he was personally attacked at Hamsway, we defended the Ruyter because we thought that it is the right thing. We will defend the next CEO as well if the board takes. So when we talk about the eye of the needle, which is in the Bible, the ANC uses it to look at the best of the best. And the eye of the needle means the board must sit down and get the best of the best for Eskom, tried and tested. We've got those people in this country who can do that work. And that is what the board must do. Go an extra mile and not just get somebody because of it is somebody. So that is what we mean by that. We strongly reject any CEOs who are politically posturing when they are supposed to do the right thing. If you are employed to make trains run, focus on trains. Focus on making the trains run, because he had a choice that Eskom as a power utility belongs to state-owned. I am a right-wing regressive individual. I therefore don't believe in the policy of this government. I don't think my ideals will fit here. So therefore, I won't apply for this position. Even if he was headhunted, he should have rejected it. You don't make political remarks and jargons when you are at the end and being exposed in terms of your failures. You had a choice. The Ruyter is educated, he's a lawyer. He should have known that, and now that he has exposed himself, his political and ideological standing, he should have known, this thing does not belong to me. I'm not going to be able to transform this thing if this is the way. And then that is it. So he should have stood back and not take up the position. Did we realize his failures as the ANC and so on? We believe in people. And we give them benefit of doubt. And we believe in patriots. We regarded the Ruyter as a patriot. And we believe at Eskom they are patriots. They are people who love this country. And we didn't look at him in terms of color. We looked at him as the Ruyter, the man, a South African who can deliver. And that's what we believed in. His capabilities were to be proven in the field of doing the job. Many political parties and individuals have attacked him and never given him a chance, even from the word go. And we said as the ANC, this man has not even started at work. They said he failed at Nampak. Why do you take him? We said give him a chance. It's a new environment, and it was brave. It was sacrificial on his part. Left his family and went to a big challenge called Eskom, with all the challenges of state capture and so on. His efforts there, we were watching them as he was going along, including fighting battles inside. We are aware in the process that some of the reports he did not pass vetting. Not pass, but he did not accede to being vetted himself at Eskom. We are aware of those things. And those revelations are now coming up.